Yeah, everyone was talking about Caitlin Clark and the whole push down to the court thing this last week. I think there's only one opinion that I have issue with, and that's anybody that says this was nothing, we shouldn't even be discussing it. Because to me, it involves so many things. It's so much fun to discuss because, you know, it hits a lot of different things.
Well, you know full well in any sort of league, there is the rookie initiation thing that happens where a rookie gets sort of roughed up in a game or at a practice. Diana Taurasi said this was going to happen before she got to the WNBA. I just think it's interesting that they haven't been able to really develop any other players to make it seem like this is going to be fun to watch. Now, other players have benefited from this, like you've seen Asia Wilson, you've seen Ionescu, you've seen all these other different players starting to cash in from it. But on the court matchups, I'm watching a lot of WNBA now more than ever because I just want to know more about the league. But it just seems to be anything that happens with Caitlin Clark is a magnet, good or bad. And I don't know if that's really good for the WNBA.
All of this is great for the WNBA, and I'm going to be that guy. I don't see what the problem is. Now, look, when you say...
I'm not saying that there's a problem so much as it's worth the discussion.
Okay, that is. No, the discussion is there, but I don't think the discussion should be what the discussion is having. If anything, what we witnessed in that game, because I watched that game completely by accident, by the way. I have accidentally watched 3 WNBA games, all involving Caitlin Clark. So I think there is something to be said with when you put them in places they can be found, you're going to attract a bigger audience. Because I watched all of those plays happen live, and I love basketball. I didn't realize that I enjoy watching WNBA basketball as much as I watch it.
So when she hip checks Clark to the floor, what was your on-the-spot reaction?
That's somebody who is upset with someone that she thinks is better, she's better than, getting all the attention that she's been getting. Look, we see this happen.
It wasn't like, ooh.
No,
like, what was that?
That's basketball to me.
Yeah,
now, maybe having not watched the WNBA before, because I'm walking into this ignorant, I will be completely honest with you. Maybe that's not how the game was played the last couple of years, although that's not what I'm hearing. To me, it was just, I mean, it's not a basketball play, but it's a basketball play.
But let's go back to this, the fact that we watched a lot of basketball, but not WNBA basketball. I think to people who have watched a lot of it, it's kind of like, all right, yeah, I get those sort of shove rookie, hey, how you doing type of plays. It's shocking is because she's so polarizing. It's kind of like, hey, that's not fair. I'm like, well, you haven't been watching a lot of basketball, period.
Thank you.
And so that would lead me to believe that you're just on the Caitlin Clark bandwagon than you are understanding basketball is played like this.
I think it was the Chicago Tribune where they went way over this week, where they wrote an article. It was an op-ed where somebody had wrote, if that had happened outside of a basketball court, that woman would have been arrested for assault. Like, that was a real thing that happened.
Oh,
Look,
gosh.
let me put it this way. If this is good for anything, it's good for the legitimacy of the WNBA. And I don't say that thinking the WNBA wasn't legitimate, but there are people that looked at it as just a token league to put women who wanted to play basketball. These women don't want to be disrespected by someone they think that they're better than, who they think is getting attention she doesn't deserve. There's a racial aspect to all of that stuff, which I think has also been overblown by the talking heads the rest of this week. When I saw that happen in that game, my thought was, this shows you what a legitimate league this is. These women have played basketball their whole lives. They've gotten to the upper echelon. They didn't need Caitlin Clark. Sure, a rising tide floats all boat and it eventually helps them out, but of course the competitor in you is going to look at that woman and go, I'm better than you. Why am I going to take this?
I always get upset when people get the warning, don't hear the warning, and then go back and get shocked. Oh, wait a minute. This went a little bit too far. What do you mean it goes a little? Have you ever been to a YMCA for crying out loud?
Yeah, no kidding, man.
I mean, there's always a chippy player there, no matter what. And I love it because that's the way basketball is played.
The thing that upset me the most outside of that Tribune op-ed that I taught, one, her teammates didn't jump in and help her the 2 times that it happened in that game. And 2, if I'm Caitlin Clark, the second time it happens, because it happened in the closing minutes too, and I get that it's a close game, get up and lay somebody out. Like, I'm being sincere, right? Like, you don't take it. Don't take it. Get up and make it something.
I said this on the radio show. I said the next time that happens, you got to get in someone's face. You don't have to fight. You do have to get in somebody's face and then show that aggression, because basically they're going to think they're going to be able to do this all the time.
I'm trying to think where the discussion would have gone if that had happened. What if they just, because that would have resulted in an all-out brawl.
Sure, but, I mean, look, I am a sincere believer that there is no such thing as bad publicity as long as nobody's getting hurt. And yes, it looks scary because we have this idea of what women should be in this society. Nobody got hurt. That's the basketball I've watched my entire life. I don't see what the problem is.